So what I'm going to go over a little bit today is just some of the platforms that we have that has really helped us with communication and make things flow through our system a little bit better. We have a $700 million, well, we have $1.2 billion worth of bonds. But one of the ones that you're seeing right here, which is Measure P, it is $750 million. So this is just actually one project. And what you're looking at right now is just the actual individual project with a snapshot of information that you can get on that project, soft cost and hard cost. It can give you the current budget, what's been paid to date, how it's doing, also the people that you can reach out to if you want more information on it, internal and external folks. It gives you a little bit of a description, project number, project name, so that way if you wanted more information, you want to contact us on it. But this is going to be rolling out in our district for live, and everything that is updated, it's updated by the hour. So it gets updated pretty lively on this project, and my team is constantly making changes in it. So as it gets, the changes get going, you can see it live. And so that's what we're going to be using it for and pushing it out to people for the community to be able to see. The funding just does it at a large scale for the entire funding, but I'm going to go over to the location. Because we are such a big district, we are 78 square miles, we have 82 sites, and we are a K-12 system. So we're a very big district, but what's nice about this is that if we have somebody that is living in this zip code, they could select all the projects that are in that zip code to be able to see what's going on. We like that because then people can see that there's been 12 projects within their location of what they chose. They can look at the schools. And if they were looking at a school that maybe was an elementary, but they had a high school student, they can look at both of those schools at the same time. They can also select different schools here by just unselecting certain ones if they wanted to. Let's say they wanted to look at, I know Barrett's the middle school, and maybe they want to look at the feeder school to Barrett, which would be the Del Deo. And so maybe they're only wanting to look at those two schools to see what's going on within our district. As you change, you can see that everything was changing right with this. So it kind of gives them a snapshot of what's going on within the district. The other tool that this is really valuable for is if a district is going to go out and sell another bond. If you're going out and you're selling your bonds, or you're going to go out for a new bond, it's super important to make sure that you can tell a story within your districts and keeping your community involved, keeping your board members, any stakeholders out there that needs to know. It's really super important to be able to do that. This has streamlined a lot for us, and we can also do it by funding sources. So we have multiple bonds. We're just picking on Measure P today. The deep dive, this deep dive was, I'm a numbers person, and so I want to see all kinds of things in my projects, and I want to know what's going on in the total Measure P. So right now you're looking at everything in Measure P, and it's actually showing you where we are to date, what has been reserved in our current budgets, what's available in our budgets, and what's been totally paid into that. The other thing that this has done is we have reserved and releases. The reserved and releases lets us be able to pick and choose on whether or not we're going to release the money right off. But you can also see that in the $750 million, this is what I've already used. But if you look over my current budget, if it doesn't balance, that means that I didn't release something that is actually in the current budget. It's up to me on how I want to drive that. The other thing is that you can look in here and you can see what's available on projects and what's pending. We use this a lot because, as you guys all know, we work in a fiscal system in a multi-year. So we're multi-years, but they're a fiscal system in the district, but this allows for us to be able to see all of that, but we can also capture things that, which I'll show you next, which is the invoices. We're going to be able to capture now and break it down to what is in my year system, so the fiscal year. So if I was just to scroll here, it's changing the dates. You can do it one or two ways. I just love to see the scroll. That's just me. But I can pick a year, I can pick a month, I can do whatever I want, and I'm able to make this pinpoint down to exactly what I'm looking for, which is whatever's in my fiscal system and I want to look and see and where we're at. The reason why it does say the May 3rd is because we don't have anything in for May 4th. If I had something in for May 4th, it would say May 4th. But simply just go here and you can see everything changing right off the bat for all your projects. You can drill down to a project, you can drill down to a funding source. So it just depends on how you want to do it. I always love to pick on Leggett. It's one of my big projects right now. So if I wanted to pick on Leggett, I can go just to Leggett and it'll only show Leggett. If I didn't want to and I wanted to show more, I could show more. The other thing is that you can toggle right here. If I wanted more detail on this, I can click on it and it's going to take me into for more detail. So it's going right to that particular invoice and it's going to show me what's going on with that invoice. The great thing is I can go right back to my analytical. It's going to take me right exactly where I was. So I'm not losing my place. I'm not having to go and search or any of that kind of stuff. It takes me right to where I want to go, what I want to look at for more of the detail, but then I can come right back to this and I can change things and go right back to my next project. This is super helpful balancing out because my team is constantly balancing things. In the fiscal period, what this is doing is it's showing you also, again, you can drill down by funding source, you can drill down by project, but this is showing you all my projects. But what this does is this allows for us to be able to look at things in the multi-year system, but bring it down to what our fiscal team needs at any given time. If I bring this and I click on it, it's going to bring it down. It's spinning over here, but it's bringing it down by the quarter for me. I can even do it further. I can ask it to give it to me by the month. So this brings it from the fiscal year to the quarter to the month, and it's going to allow me to see what's going on in my expenditures, which is very helpful when you're trying to clean out your books, look and see what's going on, see how much cash I have, what's happening out there. Any given time, we can see everything that's going on. Another thing that we've also asked for is that we need to print out reports. So when we look at this deep dive that's right here, it has a little thing right here where it says to export. We need things in our fingertips. We need to be able to export things into Excel and to be able to do it quickly. And when we export things, we don't want it to take forever because, as we all know, we're short on time. So as I'm saving this right now and it's going to my desktop, it's already there. I can open this up. I can see whatever is in the Excel for that snapshot in time, and it's here. And I can work with this data. I can enlarge it. I can change things. And it's right there. And if I want to take columns out, like I don't want to see this, I want these columns, and this could be my quarterly report. If I want to report something out quarterly, it's super quick, super easy to do. If I want it to have totals, I can put totals down here. So in the end, what happens is I do a quarterly report for our system. I use this for my audits. I use this for my board, my bond oversight committees, my board members, anybody. I do the month. I let them know what this is for, as of, and what day, and then I just report it out. So then that way they know what's going on for every single project, and it gives them all the information. And then what we do, just so you guys know, is that we do also a dive down to each individual project that's actually live in construction. So what is going on with every project that is actually in construction right now, we let them know what's going on. They can see a little bit more information on that project. But they have the summary right off the top, and they can see on a quarterly basis, I can put this out. Some people do it annually. We do it quarterly here because we're so big. The other thing that that's been super helpful for us is that we went completely paperless. I know a lot of districts aren't paperless, but in our district, COVID happened. Everybody had COVID. But when COVID happened, we went 100% paperless. It was a struggle. What the biggest struggle was that you're used to being able to see paperwork on people's desks and finding out where it goes. We went from paperless to email system. Then it became a big job to track down all those emails and to figure out where all that document was. But then when we went into Kahua, we said we need to know where documents are. Who has the document and what is going on with it? So if we have a particular project or we have a particular person that we may want to keep an eye on, we can even pick on myself or we can pick on whoever, but this happens to be my boss. Super busy person. So if I want to know what is out there in his court, I can see what's going on. Even if I didn't want to know just about him, but I wanted to know everybody, I can see everybody, but I can also go down here and I can say, okay, maybe there's people out there that have some things that are out for signatures. If I want to see what's out there just for signatures, I can now see what's out there outstanding just for signatures. And it's telling me, it'll even tell you who you're waiting on. So that way we know who we're waiting on and what's being held up and where it's at. It's kind of like that document that you wait for your inbox, but now you can see it actually in a system. So that actually concludes my presentation on all the little tools that we have that we've been using and the things that we've felt very helpful in the Kahua system.
All right, and now we're going to get to the Q&A portion of today's webinar. So again, you guys can go ahead and drop any questions you may have in the chat or in the question section, and we'll get to them. All right, the first question we have is, which tool within the Kahua K-12 offering do you find the most powerful?
Well, I believe that they're all powerful, but because we keep our team, ongoing, one of the things that I will say is that Kahua does that. It allows for the team to keep going and see everything that's happening. So that's why all the tools are important. But I'm most impressed with the analytical because it allows for you to see what's going on in the system at any given time with documents, and it's reduced a lot of our phone calls, and it allows for people to see what's going on with their projects and where they are with their funding.
Great. All right. Next question is, if you were in another state besides California that has less familiarity with Kahua and K-12 construction projects, how would you recommend switching to their solution?
So I don't believe that the state matters. It is a product that Kahua offers that benefits a lot of different people, right? In the K through 12 program, they only have fiscal, 1-year programs, where Kahua offers the value for owners to run a program that is multi-year and also help with the audits as well as seeing everything. You cannot do that when you're working with anybody on the outside that is outside of the school district. So that's what Kahua offers, and it's also owner-based. So it doesn't stop, it's ongoing. So I think that's the value of it, no matter what state you're in.
Awesome. All right. Here's another question. We use PeopleSoft as our financial system of record. What is your financial system?
So we were, last year we were on QSS. That is a California system. And then this year we moved on to Escape. So we are currently brand new as of July 1 onto Escape.
Okay, cool. Next question we have is, how were you managing your capital projects before Kahua?
So we used Constructware, but Constructware had shut down, and it gave us a due date, which wasn't long enough for how big of a district we were.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to find something in between while we were in the process of a selection. So in the in between, we just kind of used the Teams platform for our outside people to see what was going on within the projects and used Excel. And then we moved and we migrated all of Constructware along with the Teams and the Excel spreadsheets that we had into Kahua.
Oh, nice. Okay. Next question we have is, are your contractors and architects also using Kahua? If so, how are they using it?
Yes. So within our contracts, they're required to use it. So they use it for submittals, ASIs, RFIs. They're also doing it for their dailies, the meeting minutes, everything that they pretty much do out on the job is within Kahua.
Okay. Next question. Hi, Cherie. I think you referred to Measure P as a large bond program and then as project in your system. If I didn't misunderstand, can you please clarify?
Yes, so Measure P is one of my larger bonds. It's $750 million. I have two smaller bonds that are $350 million each. Plus I have my deferred maintenance and my CIP projects. Deferred maintenance is $2 million a year. And then my CIPs are just random. So I have to add funds, sources of funds all the time into those miscellaneous projects.
All right, you guys can keep the questions coming. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next one. I understand the power of Kahua when owners, general contractors, and even subs use Kahua. Have you been able to tap into the situation thus far? How has your owner experience been when Kahua is the owner's tool that the GC just has to use?
So it's an owner's tool that the GCs just have to use. I will agree with that. I think that Kahua is really starting a partnership on even that, the general and the showing the value to the general contractor and also the subcontractors and giving them that experience. One of the things about school districts is that, we work in two different systems, right? So we're basically asking the general and the subs to work in two different systems as well. But if they could see the value in the Kahua system, I think that it's going to be a win-win. Having an owner-based system is what's important to us. I hope that answered the question.
Next question. Is there a public-facing website that allows the public to see what's happening on the projects, scopes, photos, project status reports, dollars spent?
Yeah, so that's the analytical. So the first three tabs are for the public facing, and you can put that onto your district website in any way that you would like for it to look. And you can also, if you only want one of them and not all of them, you can do that as well. So just one or all three or however you would like to do that. That's the benefit of the system.
Awesome. All right. Next question. Regarding the architects and engineering use of the platform, are design phase elements such as design milestones, reviews, and related documentation managed within the platform?
So yes, we currently have different design phases, whether it's a lease back, design build, or the bidding platform. I think that I would like to see, and I know that Kahua is growing each and every, I would say, day, if not constantly. And for the platform we do use our RFIs, our submittals, and we have different sections in there for planning versus when we're in the pre versus in construction. And that's for our lease backs and our design build. I think we can even take it a step further, when Kahua is ready and even do those three-dimensional designs and actually have them in Kahua. I think that that is going to be the next steps. I think that you'll see that Kahua will probably bring that out.
Awesome. All right. You guys can keep the questions coming. And just a reminder that if we don't get to your question, we'll definitely follow up after the webinar. The next question we have is, how were you managing your capital projects before Kahua?
So I answered that, I think already. Basically, I was using Constructware and Teams with Excel, and we converted all that over into Kahua.
Oh, nice. How has Kahua helped you save time in contrast to what you were already doing?
So the biggest save in time has been the reporting. You know, the reporting out takes a long time. I would say that used to take me weeks. Now it's seconds. As you saw in the demonstration, it's very easy to download into Excel, and it's real-time data. So you can take that and date it, and you can make sure that you have that available to the public. So it's pretty simple. The other savings I would say is the phone calls. We used to get a ton of phone calls about where's my documents, where is it at? You know, who's signing it? Where's the next steps? Those workflows. So the workflows and tracking down documents, we don't get as many phone calls for those kind of documents. And when you have hundreds of people out there, it makes it saves a lot of time.
Yeah. All right. Next question is, would your project manager say that their workload has increased, decreased, or stayed the same?
I would say from my management side, it has stayed the same. What's easy for them now that they love is the app and how they can sign things on the fly. So they can look at documents and sign instead of having to go into the office and be at their computers and actually sign all the time. And they know that as soon as they sign things and process things, the faster it gets through the system. So that has saved them a tremendous amount of time, that they don't have to drive all the way back, and we're 78 square miles. So driving all the way back to their office and fulfilling that, I think was very valuable for them. The people in the field, again, it's always being able to see things and where things are, so that's saved them time as well.
Awesome. All right. Next question we have here is, how easy or difficult was it for you to transfer information from your previous platforms to Kahua?
Well, that was great. Kahua did it for me. So the only thing that we had was 3 projects that were ongoing live, and we had to take the data and move that data over and make it into the actuals. So we had to stop at one point in time with the project and get the stuff in. We allowed for a week for ourselves to put everything in because the projects were so big, but we didn't even need that week. And with Kahua's support, we were able to get everything in.
Of the dashboards views you showed in analytics, how much would you say is out of the box versus user configurable versus Kahua custom development?
So I believe that it's offered out of the box now, but this was something that I actually helped design. So
how did you learn how to use Kahua, and how did you enable others to use it as well?
So that's a great question because, you know, Kahua is very easy and friendly to work with, and it makes sense. So once you start working on it and once you get in there and you start doing it, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then each app makes sense too. And it's kind of logical when you're doing it and learning. But yes, Kahua trained us. We did training sessions with each one of our groups, and even each one of our groups to get up and running is what we did. Architects, you know, our CM firms, our internal house, our maintenance and operations, and then our construction team. Then what we did is we designed how-tos because turnover is so quick and rapid, or you have new contracts, you know, or new projects starting in a new team, right? So what we've done is we've created these how-tos, and we've created these different videos for different sections of the jobs. So if it's a contractor or an architect or internal or whoever, they have those how-tos and they can go to them and see how to do things, which has made it a lot easier for our turnover and our training.
That's great. So we only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to try to get to all the other questions that are coming in, but if not, again, we'll definitely follow up with you guys after the webinar.
Okay.
Did you select Kahua through an RFP process? What other systems did you consider?
Procore, eBuilders, and BIM were the other ones that we considered. We got to Kahua, and we did not need to do an RFP because Kahua is on a CMAS. So you could use the CMAS if you are a district to be able to utilize it and not have to go through the RFP process.
Perfect. Can you elaborate just a bit more on who and how documents flow and ball and court is maintained?
So yes, that is actually done through the workflow in Kahua. You build the workflow for each document or everything that you want to do that is toward your district. So the first thing that I would do before I'm even going to think about this through the process is make sure that you build those workflow. Kahua has spreadsheets that can help you with that. but you build it like, okay, I'm doing a change order and who needs to review it versus who needs to sign it. Make sure that you go to your legal team and verify who actually needs to sign a document versus reviewing a document. We really changed our working practices based on law and based on what was required, because we realized that we had people signing documents that didn't need to sign them. So make it make sense, and that is a great opportunity to clean up your practices as well.
That's a really great point. So this is going to be our last question for the webinar. Again, if you guys have any more, you can of course follow up with us and we'll make sure to get the answers to you. Do your architects and contractors enter their payment applications through Kahoot?
So currently our CM firms are doing the payment applications in Kahoot. The architects lead up to it, but yes, they sign them in Kahoot. Sometimes an architect has to sign the contract, sign the payment applications, and sometimes not, depending on the project. But they do the signing in there. The CM firms are the ones that load it in by the percentage completions of what the contractor states. I think that we might be looking at our processes a little bit differently and seeing about maybe the contractors putting those in directly and the CM firms verifying them. I think that that's a direction that we may be looking at. We kind of learned a little bit more at the conference when I went to Kahoot and the Kahoot conference and learned what some other people were doing. So might be a change that we might make here.
Yeah, I love that. So like I said, that was going to be our last question for today's webinar. Of course, if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to us and we'll make sure to get the answers to you.